That is Lake Mendocino out there. Mendocino County, Northern California. The town of Ukiah is out there where I'm staying with family at the moment. Enjoying a spectacular warm sunny day here in early October. So I recently went on a backpacking trip in the Marble Mountains of Northern California here, a few hours north of here. An amazing wilderness area where I went backpacking for like 4 nights, 5 days. I didn't see a single person out there the entire time because it's off season, and also it isn't all that popular of an area anyways, and so it was really amazing experience. I'd been up there a few times before. I actually went up there when I was a kid with my family on backpacking trips, and so that is how I knew about it. And so while I was out there, I didn't have a timepiece. Well, I had my cell phone that I never turned on except for the last morning, and I had my computer, which I turned on a couple of times to back up some files, and so then I saw the time. But basically I was living without time out there, and just wanted to sort of comment a little bit on how cool of a thing that is, like how much time rules our lives to a great extent and changes our minds and our mental construct of reality and life, and how we're experiencing the world and our inner states of being, because we are sort of slaves to time. Pretty much all day, every day, we have some conception of what time it is. And if we don't know, then we are likely to be checking to find out, because we have places to go, meetings, things we got to do of various types. And even if we don't, then it's just a general thing that we tend to want to know what time it is. It's middle of the afternoon. You got that general idea, but then we don't know well enough, based on just where the sun is, what the actual time is, how much actual daylight there is left. And so you could be curious right now, well, what time is it? It's probably somewhere between 1 and 4 or whatever, right? Depending on the time of year and how long the days are and whatnot. I don't know the time at the moment. It's somewhere around 2 or 3 or something. But when you take away that overlay onto our reality of what time it is for several days, it's really cool how you come more into the moment and forget about this mental linear construct of, I got to do this, and then I got to do this, and then I got to do that, and I need to schedule this in before I do this other thing, and I have to make sure I have time to get to the office before so-and-so shows up, and all this kind of stuff. It really strips away that linear, forward-projecting way of being that we are really, really trapped in, especially in the Western world, and brings you more into the moment of, I don't know what time it is. And especially when you're camping, it doesn't really matter. You're just there, and if you're hungry, you eat. Once it gets dark and you start to get tired, you crawl into your tent, you go to sleep. And so it really just shifts your whole way of being and thinking and experiencing the world when you take that away and just be in the now and organize your day just based around how you feel in that moment, what you feel like doing, what is priority, but without the obligation, the expectation that comes along with time, and that feeling of hurriedness of, oh crap, I only got an hour to get this done before I gotta get to the dentist. I got 8 hours at this job. Oh my God, it's taking forever. Time is going so slowly. Every minute that arm ticks feels like an eternity, and I still have 6.5 hours more to go. And that's just such a completely different way of being than here I am now doing what I'm doing, and then when I'm done doing what I'm doing now, Then I'll do what I want to do after that. It really flips you into a much more now present centered way of being that most of us don't hardly ever experience in our lives, especially for several days in a row like that. And it is kind of just a symptom of our current civilization across the board of many different ways that we have put limitations and restrictions and walls and boxes around ourselves and how we live our lives within this society. And so the almighty clock is just one thing that puts us into that frame of mode that we are stuck in. Graham Hancock refers to the alert problem solver state of mind. And that really goes along with this concept of time, that our society is so production driven and consumption driven and money obsessed in terms of what our priorities are, in terms of what our state of consciousness is, of organization and linear production and analysis and reason, and what do we have to show at the end of our day to prove that we made good use of our time. And that is just one state of being, one way of relating with the world. And there are so many different other states of consciousness, these altered states of consciousness, which are so outside of the concept of time. Anyone who has done magic mushrooms or had some sort of a plant-induced psychedelic experience, or been in very intense meditative states, or fasting, or done some sort of a sundance, or some sort of a ceremony that puts you into an altered state of consciousness, will have experienced how 5 minutes can seem like an eternity, or several hours can go by in an instant. How our linear, number-oriented construction of how time passes dissolves and becomes meaningless, and it is what you are experiencing within your mind, within your consciousness, accessing, tapping into other realms of being, other states of consciousness, that completely just flips and distorts our experience of the now moment, and makes our world just completely different in terms of what it's like, what it feels like, what matters, rather than things and what can we get. Then how can we shift our experience of reality so that we are in a state of sort of fascination with the world around us, just because our mind has changed, our consciousness has shifted, our state of being has been altered, you could say, but altered is only a relative concept, altered from the norm. But these states of being are available to everybody. It's just a matter of setting aside the time, you could say, to decide just to be and see what happens and where things go. And that can open up a whole new world for us. See this same world in a completely different frame of reference and perspective. And you can also just go camping, set aside that watch, and just leave time behind, and see how, at first, the first few hours or whatever, you're not really going to think about it. And then the sun starts to go down. You might be curious, well, what time is it? Is it 5:30, 6:30, 7 o'clock? And your mind can wonder and sort of grasp at, well, what's the number attached to this present now moment? But you just keep letting that go, especially if you have no way to know anyways, and it becomes less and less relevant to your existence at that moment, and you let go of time and stop worrying about it, stop obsessing over it, stop thinking that it's essential to your existence and to getting the things accomplished that you need to accomplish in your life. And yeah, things definitely can change in subtle but powerful ways. All right, thanks for watching my random ramble here. Gonna keep on hiking for a while. See ya.